Welcome to the Fantasy Football Hub YouTube channel. Today I'm going to be previewing Game Week 3, talking about my transfers and my team selection and especially captaincy. There's a lot to discuss this game week. Before that, I'm going to have a look back at Game Week 2, of course. And also in this video, I'm going to be discussing a potential Game Week 3 free hit because I genuinely think it might be viable this week, given the whole FPL landscape right now. By the way, if you haven't yet done so, before I show my team and talk about my Game Week 2, subscribe to the channel. It's completely free. I never ask any of you to subscribe. And we're over 100,000 subscribers now. Let's keep pushing. Why not? Click the button. Here's my team. All right, 55 points last game week. Actually not that bad at all. A pretty solid green arrow, although I was coming from, 4.2 million. But it's been a weird start to the season for a lot of us. If you're inside the top 1 million, then fair play to you, you're doing very well. I will just say though, I have 110 points. Fergie, who I'm going to be having on the channel tomorrow, has 148 points, so 38 points more than me, and that puts him at a rank of 60k. I'm at 3.4 million. So don't worry, genuinely don't worry too much about your rank right now. It doesn't matter that much this early in the season, although I will say it is nice to get off to a good start. I can't actually remember having as poor a start as this in terms of my rank, but a lot of other people, especially engaged managers, are doing just as badly, if not worse, which makes me feel better. But again, it really doesn't matter. Let's talk about the team. It did pretty well, to be fair. Sanchez over Dubravka was arguably a mistake, but I wanted to hedge having Esteve in the team as well, and I thought that Chelsea and Burnley both had a pretty similar chance of a clean sheet, so I was happy to split that. And yeah, I'd take 9 points from those two positions all day long. That's 9 points from what, £9 million worth of players. It's pretty good. Anderson, I was pretty happy with the 4 points there. Like, you can't expect too much at home to Man United, and I thought there was an outside chance of a clean sheet. When Bruno missed that penalty, of course, and Cunha hit the post, I was thinking, oh, maybe this is meant to be. And this is the thing with these defensive contribution points now. Like, these centre-backs can really rack up big scores pretty quickly. Say he got a couple of bonus points as well and got a clean sheet. We're looking at like 10 points there, which, the ceiling is high, and I think the floor is pretty low as well. That's why I played him, and I'm happy with the 4 points. Murillo and Nico Williams, yeah, they've let me down so far this season. I'm completely fine with having them. I don't think the fixtures they've had so far have lent themselves towards defensive contribution points, is what I would say. So I'm not 100% shocked that they haven't got the defensive contribution points. Murillo, though, slightly concerning to have only got 11 total across 2 games. You'd want him to at least be getting up there. But yeah, West Ham at home next. Nothing really to worry about. Reinders, I suppose, slightly disappointing, but I'm happy with that pick. That's fine. He's not going to score every game. Sarr, I was delighted with 8 points, and I really like him at that 6.5 million price. I think he actually is the best option at that 6.5 million price. There's Kudus, there's Ndai, who also scored. There's Semenyo around that sort of price as well. I really like Sarr. At 6.5, I think he is the best option. João Pedro obviously did really well, and that was the reason I got a green this week. Great to see him doing so well. He's also playing 90 minutes, which is massive, or played 90 minutes at least, dropping back into that 10 position, which we talked about in pre-season. That could happen. That was one of the reasons I went for him, because I thought that even if Delap was to play, it might not always be in place of João Pedro, and that obviously came to fruition. I suppose slightly fortunate that Palmer didn't play, but that can happen. And there's going to be a lot of rotation, especially with Champions League games. I don't think this is a one-off where he plays more minutes than perhaps we expect. The rest of the team, disappointing. Well, apart from Salah. Salah just, I don't know, he was poor. Liverpool were poor. But that's the beauty of Salah. He always plays the full game. He'll always be on penalties, and a little bit of quality at the end there. He also could have had another assist for Jones in a game where he really barely touched the ball and did nothing. To come away with 5 points is pretty good, to be honest. It was a tough game for Liverpool. Wirtz was poor, in my opinion, and he is slightly concerning going forward. He's already dropped in price once. He's got Arsenal at home next. I don't know. He just didn't fill me with confidence from an FPL perspective. He was playing pretty deep against Newcastle, which that game was always going to be tough for Liverpool, of course. But it's like, is that a sign of things to come where actually he's not making the box? He's not accruing many chances? Maybe. The problem with this is that if he'd shown better signs against Bournemouth, it would have been all right. But I think he was quite deep against Bournemouth as well. And then we'll see what happens with Arsenal. The good thing is it is then Burnley next and then Everton. So it does get better, but yeah, not one I'm loving at the moment. Watkins, it's just a thing in football. Sometimes these teams will just have a couple of weeks off. It will take them a bit of time to get up to speed, or they'll just be out of form for a bit. I think that's what's happening with Villa. The fixtures are way too good to lose him. Remember, he had a great preseason as well. Like he's fit, he's in good form. It's going to happen for them. Emery is a great manager. He'll sort things out. I really wouldn't worry too much about Villa. Palace at home next is a tough game, even though it's at home. But I don't know. I think they'll be fine. The fixtures are too good. I did put Porro second on my bench behind Williams. I didn't start Williams, but obviously Palmer came off injured. That I think was a slight mistake, but I just didn't see a world in which Tottenham were ever keeping a clean sheet against City. So I don't hate the decision. Maybe that was an error because Porro could have always got an attacking return, whereas Nico less likely to. But yeah, 99 times out of 100, I would not have expected Tottenham to keep a clean sheet. But clearly Tottenham are a good defensive side this year, and I'm happy to own them nonetheless. All right, now let's talk about my team for game week 3. It's an interesting one because there are clearly some issues here. Let me just firstly optimize it on Fantasy Football Hub's My Team tool. But it doesn't look great, right? A game week rating of 87%, a team rating of 91%. What I want to do before I even give my personal thoughts on the team is just immediately have a look at the AI recommended transfers and see what Fantasy Football Hub is recommending for me to do. Okay, interesting. So the recommendation, wow, it's quite aggressive. Get rid of Mark Guiu, bring in Mateta, who goes on a great run of fixtures pretty soon. And then Palmer out, obviously has that injury. We're not sure what's going on with him. For Semenyo, who probably has been the form player of the Premier League so far this year. Damn, that is pretty aggressive. I do have 2 free transfers, and those look pretty good. The good thing about this as well is that it does sort of set up for a bench boost at some point, because Mark Guiu, I don't know, I don't think he's going to be consistently in the team enough for us to bench boost with him. So this might be a good idea to spread the cash around a little bit more and get in a couple of big hitters in Mateta and Semenyo. Palmer, yeah, we've heard news this morning that his groin isn't as bad as we first thought. The scan went pretty well. It's pretty positive. I'm not sure anyway that he's going to be playing in game week 3. The good news is that the Chelsea game is the first fixture of the week. So if we are going to get any early team news, that will help for that game. So I would definitely recommend just holding on to your transfers for now. If Palmer is out of that game, confirmed out, then I think I will be looking at something like this. At least this move. I'm not sure if I would take the second move to get Mateta in, but it does look good. It's very tempting. But yeah, those are my AI recommended transfers. If you want your own, guys, then you can see right at the top of the screen, you can get them right now, personalized to your team. Click the link in the description, get 50% off Fantasy Football Hub, and see what the AI is recommending you do for your team. I mean, look at these graphs, right? It is pretty convincing, especially if Palmer is going to be out for game week 3. The green lines are a lot higher than the red lines, is all I'm going to say. Now, going back to the team, obviously, if Palmer is out, then I've got Anderson probably coming in away at Chelsea. Again, like, I think that's not actually the worst these days with the new rule change, because you would expect him to hit defensive contribution points in that game. However, again, you're probably looking at a ceiling of maybe 4 if you do expect Chelsea to score, which I do. United, I wasn't 100% they would score because there are issues there. But yeah, Chelsea a bit more of a free-flowing attack, I would argue. I don't want to play Anderson, though. If Palmer is out, I'm going to be looking to sell him. The question is, who for? Now, if I click on transfer out here, I get some recommendations over here. And the AI is suggesting that Bruno Fernandes is the best replacement, closely followed by Semenyo and Gakpo. Let's have a look at all midfielders. Over here, you can see their predicted points across the next 4 games. Cunha is not too far behind. Then we got Dango of Brentford. The problem with this, I don't really love any of these options. Bruno Fernandes is the one that I was looking at for this week. And I don't think that one penalty miss should change that. I think that game, Burnley at home, is great. I think it's a very viable alternative for captaincy other than Mo Salah. But the problem is he's just playing so deep. Now, whether he plays a little bit higher against Burnley or not, I'm not sure. But against Fulham, he was just really deep, like not involved at all from an attacking standpoint in terms of getting those assists and goals, which was concerning. as good as a non-owner, but yeah, if you're getting him just for set pieces, just for penalties, and who knows, I don't know if he'll even be on penalties anymore. I don't think that is a good enough reason to ever get a player. And also, the fixtures after with City away, Chelsea at home are tough. Whereas someone like a Semenyo, maybe you just chuck in and keep there for the long run. Problem is, Spurs away now is probably tougher than it's been in a long time. Brighton at home, Newcastle at home with maybe some injuries there, Leeds away, Fulham at home, Palace away, Forest at home. That is a very, very good run. So maybe he is the one. And he probably is the one that I'd go for. I would say, by the way, if you don't have Sarr, he is class. Get him in and just forget about him. Semenyo versus him is close, but I'd be inclined to go with Sarr. I just love him as an FPL pick. Now let's talk about Florian Wirtz. He's the only real other issue in this team, I think. And I'm concerned about him going forward because he's been poor so far. He hasn't been in those sort of FPL positions that you want from one of your players. Like Sarr makes the box a lot. Salah, obviously. Reinders even makes the box a lot. Palmer's Palmer. If Wirtz is going to play as deep as he's been playing and really not look that threatening at all, with Arsenal at home next, I don't want him in my team. However, I don't necessarily know if he's worth a transfer out. If I'm going to sell Palmer for Semenyo, for example, then who's the next best midfielder to bring in? Probably someone like a Kudus, maybe. But even he, I don't love as a pick. He hasn't been super involved from an attacking point of view, which maybe is a little bit controversial to say, but I think he's had like 2 shots so far in 2 games. And if anything, if I was to go with a Tottenham midfielder, I think I might go with Johnson instead. He is that sort of player. He's not as good as Kudus, of course, but he is always that back post runner. He scored 2 pretty similar goals so far. We know the goal that he loves to score, just the one that he scored against City. He'll probably score like 8 or 9 of them this year. And again, those fixtures are really good. I like Johnson. You can see actually he's predicted to score more points than Kudus over the next 4, which is interesting. But yeah, let me know in the comments what you're thinking about Palmer. Even if he's back for game week 4, I'm just not sure it's worth benching him for 1 week. It's so much money to play Anderson. I'd rather just get someone in and then we can think about, redistributing that money later on. If he plays in game week 3, is a complete hold, obviously. Don't need to talk about him, but yeah, that's what I'm eyeing up at the moment. I think I'm either going to roll if everyone is fit and just hold on to Wirtz. I've already eaten a price drop there. I don't love it, but is Wirtz to Semenyo worth it this week? I'm not 100% sure. And then he's Burnley at home. So, I mean, looking at the predicted points, it's pretty similar. And I don't know. I don't know if that's necessarily 100% worth it with Semenyo going to Tottenham away. And then, yeah, if Palmer is fit, I think it's just a hold and reassess that after the international break with 3 free transfers. In terms of captaincy, though, I've just got no options. And this is one of the reasons why I had initially penciled in Bruno in for this week. I don't like it as much now, but am I captaining Salah again? I mean, he hasn't let me down so far. In a low-scoring season so far, in terms of FPL points, a lot of us don't even have 100 points yet. If you can get 5 to 7 points from your captain each week, at least that's something. It's not terrible. Maybe I do default back to Salah. Right now, that is who the captain's armband is on. As you can see, he's actually quite a way ahead of anyone else in terms of predicted points. What about for every single player this week? He's even ahead of Haaland and ahead of Bruno Fernandes. He just ticks so many boxes for an FPL captain. But yeah, it's probably one of the worst fixtures you can have. Now, to round this video off, I do just want to talk about a potential free hit, because if Palmer is out this week, right, and you've got him, but you think he's going to be back after the international break, if you have maybe Saka as well, and there's a chance he's back after the international break, it's unlikely, but you never know. If you have a Nori, if you have a few sort of niggling injuries that aren't really like out for a few months sort of injuries, I actually think that this week is a pretty good week to potentially free hit for a few different reasons. First of all, as I was saying with Man United, they've got this great fixture here, Burnley at home, but then it gets tough after that. If you free hit, you can get Bruno, Cunha, maybe a Dorgu as well into your team and then not have them for City away, Chelsea at home, which is great. Perhaps you don't have as many Nottingham Forest defenders as I do, or just players in general. Chris Wood, for example, I think is a great option this week. You could get 3 of those in for West Ham at home. Chelsea defensively, you could maybe double up, get Sanchez and Cucurella at home to Fulham. Chelsea look pretty strong from a defensive standpoint. And then Finally, you could take out, perhaps, Wirtz, maybe another Liverpool player if you have them, Liverpool defender, maybe your Arsenal players if you have them. Forget that fixture entirely. Get some City players in away at Brighton, which I think is pretty decent. And then also get some Spurs players in for their game at home to Bournemouth. Like you probably would consider doubling up on that defence. Maybe not actually. You'd have someone like Porro. You probably would have a Tottenham midfielder, and you could have Richarlison as well. Let's actually have a look at Fantasy Football Hub's best Game Week 3 free hit team. Now, I shouldn't really be showing you this because it's for members. And if you want to see this team every single week, then the link to sign up, as you can see, 50% off is down below. One thing I will say is that this team will change as we get closer to the deadline. I'm recording this on Tuesday lunchtime, so just bear that in mind. But right now, this is the best team according to Fantasy Football Hub. You can see there, it's got the Chelsea defenders. It's got Triple United. It still keeps Salah as captain. I probably wouldn't do that. I think that's a bit boring. Wood's in there as well. Yeah, I mean, look at that. It's very, very strong, and it enables you to potentially keep some players that you're not 100% sure on. Not use the wild card too early, which I think is really important, because right now, I mean, I don't know who I would have in my wild card team. I just don't think we have enough information after 2 weeks for me to really fully build a wildcard team that I'm happy with for, you know, maybe the next 30 game weeks, right? We're not going to be using our second wildcard for a long time. I know we have more free transfers with AFCON, but still, that is a way away. And yeah, I think this is quite a fun team that you could really have a good week with. Dango as well. I mean, that could be a great fixture for him. He looked fantastic in game week 2. So, I don't know. I like the free hit. Remember, we got 2 this year. We've got to use this in a single game week before Christmas. Why not this week? I think it might be the perfect opportunity. Let me know in the comments down below. Are you thinking of free hitting or not? If you're thinking of wildcarding, I would really recommend thinking of free hitting first and saving your wildcard. You can free hit this week, and then you can even wildcard after the international break, if you like, or during the international break in time for game week 4. So much stuff happens in an international break. You'll have one more week of data. I don't know. I think you might be in a better position. And there are fixtures this week that I think you can really attack without having to hold on to those players afterwards. Talking about Man United, really. But anyway, there we go. That is going to do it for this video. Really hope you enjoyed it. As always, anything that you saw in this video is on Fantasy Football Hub. For example, if you want to get your team rated like I did during the video, that's free to do, link down below. If you want to keep up to date with all the price changes that are happening, Wirtz, for example, dropped in price last night, then that is down below as well. And then if you want to have a look at your AI recommended transfers, the best free hit team as it changes as the week progresses, then that, of course, is down below. Sign up to Fantasy Football Hub. It's 50% off right now. Why not? It's only game week 3. You still got the rest of the season to enjoy it. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll catch you on the next one.